Upgrading to your first touring bike, otherwise known as a bagger, can be intimidating. Whether you're coming from a Sportster, Softail, sport bike, any smaller bike, these weigh upwards of 800 pounds. Today I'm going to show you how to ride a bagger, and it's probably not as difficult as you might think. If we haven't met before, my name is Brandon Hart, and I enjoy making videos on motorcycles, mostly Harley Davidson. I'm here with my 2021 Harley Davidson Street Glide Special. This bike is 827 pounds with a full tank of gas. Sounds like a lot, but it's not too bad, and I'm gonna show you how to ride it. Let's go ahead and hop on the bike just so you get the feel of the weight. Grab the front brake lever, it's on the right-hand side. Make sure you're gripping onto that firmly, and with your left hand, grab the left handlebar. You're standing on the left-hand side of the bike. You wanna swing your right leg over. Make sure those bars are straight, as straight as possible. Use your left leg to push up a little bit. You want to shift your body weight to the right as you're doing that. Also, your right arm, use it to go to the right, just very slowly. You don't have to do this super fast or else the bike is going to keep going. It's a heavy bike. Once it's up in the middle, center your body more. As you're sitting on the bike, just get comfortable with it. Let go of that front brake lever. Bring your arms down. Make sure that you can balance this bike while stopped. This is very important. And you'll notice it doesn't feel as heavy when it's upright. It's when it starts to lean that becomes an issue. Again, grab that front brake, hands on the bars, kick that kickstand up. Again, keeping everything straight, bring the kickstand up. You've got no support now, it's just you. Hand off that front brake lever. Okay, you can balance it a little bit. Grab that brake again. Just lean it a little bit side to side just so you kind of feel it. Don't go too far. You now have an 800+ pound bike upright. Spend some time balancing. And remember, anytime you dismount, make sure that kickstand is down. Practice that a whole bunch of times. Practice getting off of the bike. Practice getting back on. Using that brake every time. And what you'll notice is you can kind of use that momentum a little bit as you stepped over to bring the bike upright. And just keep practicing that. Just pick the bike up. Kickstand down, stand up, sit down. So let's take a look at the controls. All right, as we're approaching the bike, you have controls on the left and controls on the right. I'll start with the left controls. This is a 2021, so the buttons might vary on your particular bike, but we have traction control, we have the horn, high beams, low beams, high, low. We've got our left turn signal, this little Bluetooth button, I don't really use that. Some navigation on the screen and cruise control. On the right-hand side, we have the right turn signal. We have back on the screen. We've got the hazard lights, the starter, and where the ignition is on or off. Down here is your ignition switch. So I've turned this to the right, the screen comes on, the motorcycle's activated. First thing you want to look for is this neutral light. If the neutral light's not on, you don't want to start your bike. Make sure the bike's in neutral. You'll see my bike has a toe shifter and a heel shifter. Basically, you want to kick down this toe shifter while holding in the clutch. This is your clutch on the left side. Hold that clutch in and kick down as far as you can go. I'm in first gear, and a half click up will put it in neutral, just like that. To start the bike, you go to your controls, turn the ignition on. You'll hear the fuel pump, and then you want to hold the start button. She starts. That's your starting process. Obviously, safety gear is really important. So make sure you have a good pair of gloves, long sleeves. I have a hoodie. This is an armored hoodie, Kevlar line from MBT. A pair of jeans. I know you can get Kevlar pants, be more safe. And I have some boots that go above my ankle. So we're ready to get started. Swing that right leg over, slowly stand her up. Remember, we're holding on to this brake the whole time. Slide the kickstand up, turn the ignition to the right. Make sure we're in neutral. If you're not, remember, clutch in, kick all the way down. I like the heel shifter to find neutral, or you can just do a half click up with your toe. So I'm in neutral, make sure that light's green. Just to be safe, grab that front brake and hit the starter. This is where I want you to take a deep breath and relax a little bit. I don't want you to be intimidated by the weight of this bike. So let's put our hands on the bars, and I want you to pull that clutch in, pull the brake lever in, kick down to first gear. So take that brake off, and I just want you to slowly let the clutch out. Not all the way. Pull it back in. And what I want you to learn with this step is, where does the transmission start to engage? So let off the clutch a little bit. See how the bike's rolling forward? This is a large motorcycle, but it doesn't mean you have to muscle it. You don't have to. You want to use the bike to do all the heavy lifting. So you don't feel like you got to walk it or anything like that. Just find out where that clutch is. Slowly let off the clutch. And I can actually go with this bike, right? Keep your feet down, because again, we're just getting used to it. I'm not going to give it any throttle. I also want to cover that front brake just in case, but slowly let that clutch out a little bit until it engages. You feel it engage because the bike will start to move on its own. Let it out a little bit. Look at that. I can actually have the bike move right before it disengages. You let it out all the way, you're going to stall. But your important step here is keep the front bars straight. That'll give you all the leverage in the world. As long as your bars are straight, you're not having to fight the bike. Keep those bars straight, just clutch in and out. All I'm doing is just letting that clutch do the work. Before we give it any gas, I don't even need to use throttle. And we're just walking with it. And then start to feel that brake. Use that brake a little bit. Keep the clutch in. At no point are we letting off the clutch all the way yet. Obviously you want to choose an empty lot for this. You got to get good in a straight line before you can learn to turn and all that good stuff. So I want you to do that until you're really comfortable with where that clutch engages the transmission. And once you're comfortable with that, I want you to give it just a little throttle where it starts to engage the transmission. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then you can let off the clutch very lightly, and you'll start moving forward. Keep those bars straight. Now, if we're coming up to a stop, put that clutch in. With the clutch in, you're not going to engage the engine. Let that clutch out a little bit till the bike starts to move, and then give it a little bit of throttle, just a little bit. At no point am I gripping on throttle. I mean barely turning that throttle. And you're going straight. You master the art of going straight, you're good. Just keep her going straight, and it's really important to relax. Do one more lap, same thing. Maybe give it a little more gas in first, because we have some room. And we're cruising. We're cruising on a heavy bagger. 800 plus pounds. Yes, you can do it. So once you get comfortable with that straight line, you're ready to start turning. Now there's a few things to remember with the turns, and as I'm parking here, I'm gonna put it in neutral. Whatever you do not grab that front brake aggressively with the bars turned. This bike is really heavy, so if you have the bars turned and you run into trouble, first straighten those bars out. If you can't do that, utilize your rear brake pedals. You want to get really good with your rear brake. So that's what we're going to practice now, is that rear brake control. If you ever hear the term dragging the rear brake, it's because it gives you more control during slow speed maneuvers. So your rear brake is your best friend at slow speed. Your front brake is not. Please do not grip this front brake with the handlebars turned. You're going to lose control, or you're going to have a difficult time. So get used to that rear brake and where it engages. So this time, we're going to go straight again. Okay. Kind of hit that rear brake just a little bit. Again, you're not slamming on it. Just a little bit. Get used to that rear brake, where it engages. And now I'm coming up on a turn here to the left. So what I'm going to do is engage the clutch all the way. I have my foot covering the rear brake. I turn my head around and I slowly give it a little bit of gas. See that? I can go really slow doing this. Really slow. And all I'm doing is dragging that rear brake. Dragging that rear brake, looking around. All right, so we're gonna give it a slow speed turn. I'm gonna go to the right, clutch all the way in here, turn to my left, bars turn, and I find that friction zone. Again, I'm practicing dragging this rear brake. Drag that rear brake. Your head is always around. drag that rear brake. Your bike's not gonna fall if you're giving it ample throttle. It's when you let off the throttle that you lose control. Now, I'm making myself dizzy. Just remember, when you stop giving it any throttle at all and you're turning, eventually you're gonna run out of juice, that bike is gonna fall. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to do a U-turn, first we gotta practice those, but if you find yourself in that situation, always remember up here, drag that rear brake, find that friction zone. That's gonna be useful for everything. So that first drill where you're finding that zone, you'll always remember that on your bike. It's gonna stay the same. Every bike is a little different, so if you get on a new one, you're gonna have to get used to it, but that's the best tool you have, is the friction zone. Using the front brake, turn the bars all the way to the left and find that balance point, okay? And then you do the same exercise to the right. Find that balance point. You're gonna look to the right. When you're turning on a motorcycle, you wanna look to where you want to go. If you're looking straight and you wanna turn right or left, the bike's not gonna turn where you want it to. So you wanna get used to turning these bars. It's important you practice this, right? Left, right. When you turn to the left, look to the left with the brake in. Because when you're making a U-turn or a turn, wherever your eyes are, the bike's gonna go. So if you're looking straight, the bars are turned, you're still gonna have some trouble. Look through the turns. U-turns go all the way to the right, eyes turn, find the friction zone. Let's practice some slow turns, right? Find that friction zone, there you go. And I want you in first gear, turn to the left, the right, left, right. Again, looking each way. Look to the left, look to the right, look to the left, look to the right. Now eventually you're gonna have to try one of these turns. So what I want you to do is give yourself lots of space, cover that rear brake, turn around, give it a little bit of gas in that friction zone. You don't have to turn the bars all the way yet. But this is why it's important. Find a parking lot with a lot of space where you can practice. I'm gonna look to the left, make sure there's no one behind me. Look to the left, find that friction zone. I'm on the clutch and the rear brake at the same time. I'm on the clutch and the rear brake at the exact same time. I'm definitely gonna make myself really dizzy. Now you could tighten this up as you get better, where you're pretty much locking up the bars. But I want you to practice doing those turns. U-turns are gonna happen in the real life, so if you're not comfortable with U-turns, practice a lot. You're not gonna get good at it right away. It's gonna be really intimidating. Get yourself a pair of highway bars or highway pegs. In case you do drop the bike, you can get them for your bags that stick out and for the front that stick out. God forbid the bike goes down, you can at least get it back up or it won't do much damage to your engine components. Turn it all the way, keep it balanced, and walk backwards. Okay, that's to the left. Just walk backwards. Straighten her out, and I want you to turn the bars to the right, and you're gonna look to the right, walk backwards. Get that balance. It's all about balance with these big bikes. You don't wanna muscle them. Now, another scenario is you're at a stoplight, you need to make a left. So here we are in first gear. You should probably be in first gear on most stoplights. You're not gonna have a ton of room. I'll come back here. This is what you wanna practice, is I wanna make a left-hand turn. Sometimes it might be a 90-degree angle. So again, learn that friction zone. When your feet are up, cover that rear brake, and then turn left. See what I did there? I can keep that going. Another thing you practice with balance is when you're stopped, put your foot on that brake and make sure you can keep the bike straight. If you can balance like that, it's gonna make the left-hand turn so much easier. Watch. I'm gonna cover this brake. I'm not gonna press it too hard, but let off the friction zone, foot's on the brake, head to the left, and we're turning. Just like that, real easy. And I want you to practice that over and over and over again. Turns are really big. U-turns are very important. I'm gonna practice my backing up, left, right, left, okay? Stop here, friction zone. I got a stick here, so I gotta be careful. Watch out for debris, but keep that head turned, see that? Head turned. And I'm covering that rear brake, it's helping me. One thing you'll find with these heavy bikes, the hardest thing is your slow speed maneuvers. Once you're up to speed, I'm not kidding you, this handles the same, if not better, than lighter bikes like Softail, Sportster, sport bikes. It gets a lot easier. And now you can pull the clutch in, shift up to second gear. Second gear is a lot less jerky. And in some bikes, you can go really slow in second gear. It depends on what bike you have. You have to test it out. And you're like, why do you keep going left? Well, in real traffic, that's how it works. You're not gonna do a U-turn to the right. You do a U-turn to the left. Cover that rear brake, boy. Cover the rear. Practice that. And don't use that front brake unless the bars are straight. Really important. Another tip for riding a big heavy bagger, if there's a hill or a decline, do not park face down because you gotta muscle that bike out of that parking spot. So get really used to turning those bars, right? We practice right and left. Give it a little bit of gas and just walk with it, right? Just walk with it. Find that friction zone, walk with it. And then what you want to do when you're parking is back in. Keep practice the back in parking too. And that way, if we're on a decline, I can just pull straight on out of there and be okay. And be fine. Stay calm. Use that rear brake to your advantage. It's your best friend in slow speed maneuvers, trust me. But you get good at dragging the rear brake. Again, you're not slamming it, but you're dragging it. You don't want to use this front brake when you're turning slow speeds, okay? If you do have to stop an emergency, you want to apply equal pressure, but make sure during emergency stops, your bars are straight. Think, stop straight, stop straight. Don't come to a quick stop with your bars turned. It's going to throw the weight off the bike. It's going to throw your balance off, trust me. Been there before. Do more U-turns than you need to do. Look into the turns. Use your counter steering techniques. Drag that rear brake. You're gonna be fine, I promise. I appreciate you for watching. If you do ride, remember keep that rubber side down. If you're thinking about a bagger, go ahead and get one. They're great bikes. You can bring all your stuff with you. Until next time, y'all take care. Peace.